I think that the worst part about this sport, the great sport of fishing, is the fallacy or the myth that you have to spend a lot of money into it. Now, I know we can all get carried away a bit and spend more money than we ought on the things that we enjoy. But when it comes to fishing, really the commercialization of it, especially after we got the big bass tournaments and we started advertising all the expensive products in the tournaments, and it became more of a marketing gig than anything, we started convincing people to spend a lot more money than they needed to on things. Now, some gear is nice, and nice things can be very well worth the price. But, looking better, you don't need expensive gear to do any good quality fishing whatsoever. A great example of that is this reel that I'm working on here. This is a 1960s Penn 109 level wind reel that I bought used. I bought a box of these. I bought 2 of the 109s and 2 of the larger 209 reels. $60 for all 4. Might sound like a lot of money for some old worn out wall hangers, but these reels were made well enough that they still work fine. They just need a good cleaning, a little new grease, a little new oil, scraping some junk off here and there. Other than that, there we go. They're looking a lot nicer. They're going to be working very well. You don't need to spend a lot of money on gear and equipment. You can if you want to, but you know what I found out is if I waited till I could spend a lot of money on all the gear and equipment that I really wanted, either I'm going to go broke or I'm not going to be able to get started. So by buying used gear, for example, this one right here, right? This is an Ugly Stik. This is a light action Ugly Stik. Is it light? Medium. Pardon my language there. Medium action Ugly Stik. This is the GX2. This is the earliest of their GX2 rods. I got this used. My neighbor actually came and gave it to me. He dug it out of his barn. It didn't have a reel on it. I came across this old Gander Mountain Guide Series reel, which I have no idea who actually made that reel. It certainly wasn't Gander Mountain. But it's a fine little reel. The reel's probably around not quite 20 years old, but getting close. The pole's probably around the same. It's a fine combination. It's not that old, it's not very worn out, and it's going to do well. But if we go a little bit older, I've got another medium action here. This is a medium action Berkley Cherrywood with a quick fire Shimano reel. This is from approximately sometime in the 80s. Looks like it's seen a lot of use. The reel didn't work very good. You could hardly spin it when I got it. So clean it up, open it up, brush it out, give it a little oil and grease. It works. It's nothing pretty, but it works well. And this is going to catch fish just as well as any basic rod and reel combination I can go get at the department store or any sporting goods store. I've got another one here. This is a Berkley Torque bass rod, worm rods. This is stiffer type, and it's got the larger version of the Shimano Quickfire spinning reel. Again, this one didn't work very well until I cleaned it up and added some oil into the gears. It's not perfect still, but it's got some life in it, and it works. Okay? It works. This has got the trigger. I always thought that was fancy when I was a kid, the little trigger release. The bail works, the drag works. It's got a speed drag down here. What's not to like? How could I complain about that? All the functions work. This is another rod that my neighbor gave to us. He dug it out of his barn so my girls could have a spare rod for fishing this summer. You know, old gear. For example, I've got old outboards. My primary outboard is a 15-horse Evinrude from I think it's from roughly 1980. I've got an Evinrude 4.5 horsepower. That's the one with the gas tank built into it. That's from 1982. Runs fine. I paid $400 for it just last week. It runs good, and you know what? It's going to do us well. I've got trolling motors from the 60s and 70s that were my grandpa's. I refurbished them. They needed some new wiring. One of them needed a motor brush. I needed some new three-way switches in one of them. But they work great. For about $15 worth of parts from the hardware store, I got them both running. And they're going to work fine once I buy a battery for them. But the point is, I'm getting the entire boat set up for about $600 to get an entire setup to take all my 6 kids out fishing in a fishing boat. We're going to be out in the local lakes. We're going to be out in Lake Michigan, up in the northern lakes around here. You can't do that kind of fishing. No, hold on. If I bought nice gear for this kind of outfit, I would be broke, and my wife would not forgive me for it. I wouldn't forgive myself. I wouldn't do it anyway because it's a dumb idea. Sometimes it can be fun to spend a little money into things you really like, but stop and think, is it really worth it? Look around at what's used. Before you buy something expensive, look around at what's used. I'm not saying buy junk. I'm saying see what else you can do first, you know? Nice things are nice, but most things are nice enough. And if you wait around until you get all nice things, you're going to either be drowning in stuff that you don't need, or you're going to have you're going to either be drowning in stuff you don't need, or you're going to have so much of a weight, you're not going to get around to getting outside and enjoying fishing. I did a lot of fishing as a kid with a little cane pole. I caught tons of fish, and I loved every minute of it. You don't need to spend a lot of money to have fun or to be successful fishing. Just get something basic that works. You don't need to do a lot. You don't need to spend a lot. So don't feel bad if you can't spend much money on equipment. There's something you can find that'll fit the bill, that'll fill the gap, that'll take care of what you need. If you don't have it, maybe your friend has it, maybe somebody has it you can borrow. I don't know, but there's a way to make it work, and you don't need to stress about it. In other words, old fishing gear is generally just fine. Ooh, there's more crud. Looky there. Hey, let's go fishing.